Hey everyone, Michelle Venus here. How are you all doing? How's it going? Thank you so much for checking out my channel. Thanks for the support. It's an honor to have you all back here again. Let's get into another video for our project. We're working on an extensive project with lots of characters and plenty of detail. Yeah, always in our niche here, which is anatomy and fashion, okay? If you have any questions, you can leave them here in the comments or any suggestions. Like, comment and share. If you think someone might like the work here, please share it. Give us some support here. It really helps a lot. We're just starting the channel now, so these are the first videos, so I'm asking for your feedback, okay? Without further ado, let's move on to the character's torso and arms, all right? Let's go. Here we draw the head, just like I did with the other character, which I showed in the previous video. Sorry about that. As I always do, I divide it down the middle since it's a mirrored pose, and then I always start with the head and work my way down. Here is the character's torso. I make the first sketch always starting from a reference, so it's a mirrored pose, so I keep working here. The shoulders, always being careful to check the proportion between the chest and the shoulders and everything else. I draw the arms, then the other arm. Here, it's pretty much like I said in the other videos. It's basically a goblet shape. You can see that it forms a goblet with the character's torso and arms. I make the first sketch there, and then I had already duplicated and made the first sketch very symmetrical. And now I'm going over it with a second sketch, a second layout, more defined on top. The first one was just to roughly mark things out for myself, where each muscle is, each muscular part. And now I'm defining that musculature, marking each limb. Okay, for each individual part of the body here, specifically the torso and the shoulders, I am really pushing it to the absolute maximum. And all of this is carefully based on my reference material. All right, we just keep working and keep looking closely. It is a very detailed observational process. So right now I am working directly on top of this very first mold and this initial layout that we have created. But you'll see that throughout the process, we don't need to keep following it exactly. It's just a guide, right? It's not something you have to do exactly on top of, you know? This serves as a foundational guide for you to manage all of your other activities. Layout, okay, like I said before, I already start drawing the limbs directly, you know? I don't really have that thing of drawing everything with geometric shapes like cylinders and all that, so I can orient myself because I just go straight in. It's pretty much freehand. It's like, as I said in some other videos, it's pretty much as if I were actually sculpting the character out of a piece of clay, a piece of modeling clay, okay? As if I were carving, shaping it. So that's why I just go straight in. There's also a lot to do with practice, right? The more you draw, the more you get familiar with the musculature, with the design, even with human anatomy itself. Here, in this case, here it's a man, but we're also going to have a woman. So you'll have both genders, so you can see the difference. In this case here, we're drawing a bodybuilder. I really like sketching and illustrating the human form, models, bodybuilders, and things of that nature. All because I think that it really emphasizes the anatomical aspect. I think you can really see the muscles, you can really see the shape of the body, of the character. Okay? And besides, it's beautiful to look at, right? So that's what I like. So here I turn it upside down, the head, you see, so we can get a sense of it. If needed, I flip it, I turn it, I mirror the drawing to see if it looks good or not. All right? Always trying to observe the reference, where each muscle comes from, okay? You don't need to know the names of the muscles. You don't need to know the names of the tendons or bones. At least I never tried to learn them. If that's a shortcoming on my part, I apologize, okay? But I've always cared about the form. I've always cared about the shape. Ever since I was a kid, I've always been very observant. Images have always been something fascinating to me. So I don't, how do you say it? These more technical subjects, like the names of muscles, bones, and tendons, I never memorized, but I more or less know where each one is. And whenever I go to draw anatomy, from drawing so much, I already know what to do. But of course, always using references, unless I have to do something very generic, something really quick, like a kind of cartoony character and so on, then you don't need a reference. But otherwise, in this case, we want to achieve perfection. So it's really a work of observation, of modeling, always observing both sides as we draw. As I said, it's a mirrored character. We try to be faithful to the symmetry on both sides, okay? Even though a human being isn't symmetrical, since we're drawing a bodybuilder and symmetry and perfection are inherent to bodybuilders, I believe that as artists, we need to pay even more attention to these things, right? So we have to strive for perfection. We have to strive for beauty. Yes, it's satisfying to see something well done, something beautiful. Beauty matters, folks. Beauty matters. That's my opinion. And that's why I like to draw bodies like this, well-defined, both male and female bodies, model bodies, bodybuilders. I think they're examples. I think they look beautiful. They're examples of beauty, and I think that I'm fascinated by that, you know? So everything here is based on references, okay? Everything is based on references, always respecting the form, always respecting the shape, always respecting all the musculature that needs to be done, that needs to be depicted here. And I do everything that's possible to do. That's why sometimes I draw the hand separately and the foot separately, because I like to see, does the character have a hand on their waist? They do, but I like to see their waist in its entirety. The Adonis belt here, I like to see the shin. In this case, the wrist, everything in full, because when I have the limbs seen completely in isolation, for me, it's much better to draw. Then I make the adjustments, you know? We compare the size of the chest, the size of the shoulders, and always with the reference on the side so we can reach the perfection we want. That's it, everyone. Another video is done. It was quick. Why? I already have the first video. Like I told you, I already have that first video with the whole body done, except the head. So it's a longer video. So here I'm breaking down each limb. If you want to see it in an isolated way, or want to hear my commentary separately for each limb, then there are these videos here, okay? That's why they're shorter, but there's the video of the whole body, the whole head, and so on, okay? Thanks for the audience. Thanks for following me. Thanks once again for being here. Like, comment, share, always in a respectful way, in a way that we can add value to each other's lives. And I'll grow with your knowledge. You'll grow with my knowledge. We'll keep exchanging ideas and making a channel that's good for everyone, all right? Thank you so much for the audience once again. Thanks. Bye-bye. See you later.